Anywhere you go, you belong. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
Okay, what are you saying, people? Welcome back to another live stream. Hope you're all doing well. As always, guys, if you are enjoying the content, finding it useful, informative, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. And make sure you also hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the near future. Check out the Telegram channel as well for updates, trades, videos as well. Make sure you check that out. Linked in the description below. Do not miss out on that. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope you're well. Big bang and away we go. I love that. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. More as always. Welcome. Hope you're doing good. Juice drop. What is up? Hope you're well. NZDC Chef Pound USD. We will take a look. No problemo. Darkishon, welcome to the stream. Good morning. Pound CHF, we'll take a look as well. Morning as always, Sculpey. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, more 100%, mate. It was another awful watch for England, but still got the W. So hope's still alive. The fire's still burning. But yeah, it was not a good watch at all. I think England's probably the most boring team in the tournament, to be honest. Apart from that 94-minute equaliser, but besides from that, it has not been great. But anywho, so yeah, we'll start with, we've got a couple of Swiss pairs to look at. What's up, Rick? Welcome to the stream. A couple of Swiss pairs to look at, and we'll go through some dollar pairs. So New Zealand CHF, haven't really been looking too much at this one. Pound CHF is the one that looks a little bit interesting to me, so I'll touch on that one in a second. But New Zealand CHF, I do think we've got good chance to see some more downside, because what I'm looking at is a lovely move to the downside here from last week, or maybe the week before actually. And the way price is moving, it does look like we're just having another correction, another pullback to then see more downside. So I do like the idea of downside. We're coming into an area here on the left, which kind of brief support on the market, now kind of acting as resistance. Potentially, if you can see some strong rejections in this area, shorts do look okay. High time frames, I'm a little bit because we're kind of seeing some higher highs and higher lows here on the daily chart. So my kind of dilemma is the daily chart getting ready to see another higher low? Because we've got a low over there, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Is this now the next higher low for price to go and try and make a new higher high? So it's kind of at a contradiction, at a crossroad a little bit between the daily and the full hour. Doesn't mean shorts don't look good. It's just not necessarily expecting it to come all the way back to the low. It might just be we come up into an area, react, see some downside, reject some support, and be on our way to the upside. Because I always want to favor the higher time frame, even though I could be wrong. Maybe the market is going to melt to the downside, but I want to at least give respect to the higher time frame where it's due. So if you are taking some shorts, I think a swing back to this area looks reasonable. Swing down here is a bit more optimistic, but leaving some small positions to trickle to see if you can get that makes a lot of sense to me. But I think a swing back down to this support makes a lot of sense for New Zealand CHF. Certainly, if we see some strength in the bearish candles over here so far, we'll see some rejection. Let's see if we can sustain that. But yeah, I don't mind New Zealand CHF. It's a nice area. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I do think we can see some downside. I do like pound CHF a little bit more, although this one has kind of broken through this area here from last week. But I do like the fact that we're coming back into this area. This is kind of the top of that move, kind of the supply area. And I'm still looking for a lower high in this sequence. So high over there, lower low. I'm looking for another lower high. As long as we don't break structure, which is take out this high essentially, I do think there's a good chance we're seeing a lower high and some continuation to the downside. It could be a similar situation with New Zealand CHF in terms of, okay, the daily might wants to continue up higher. So we're kind of in a similar situation from that respect. But I like the pullback on this one a little bit more. And I like the impulse to the downside a little bit more. It's a bit more conviction in the move there. So I can buy into this idea a little bit more. But again, it might be a similar situation where we react, see some downside, just to put a higher low and continue higher. But that down move could still be worthwhile. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on the candlestick, see how we're shaping up. Right now, pound CHF is still looking very, very strong. New Zealand CHF is seeing a lot more bearishness come into play. So that one probably looks a lot more inviting to short at the moment, but things can change. We've still got 47 minutes before that candle does close, so things can change in that time. But yeah, for CHF pairs, I think generally speaking, then some areas where we could be seeing some shorts. I'm not too sure if I'm expecting a lot of downside for them, just because the higher time frames might have other plans. But yeah, I like the areas we're trading in. Pound USD, I will take a look as well. What's up, Chris? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Good. Happy to hear, Sculpey. 4 positions on the Euro Yen. Are you still holding on to them more? Not giving it a rest. Yep, happy new month as well. 1st of July. 1st of July. So yeah, with pound USD, it is it's an interesting one because I was shorting this one last week and I said I was looking to get back involved to try and find another entry to short because I still do have a bearish bias for pound USD. Again, conditions haven't been great, but what I'm looking at for pound is the fact is we've rejected the high pretty well. I'm expecting us to come back into the low of this range. I'm looking at these moves over here as big fake outs. So fake out there, a bit of a fake out there with a wick, and a really, really big one over here as well. So essentially, if you get rid of these moves here, you know, price has just been ranging for pound USD inside of that range. So now that we've rejected the high, I'm assuming there's a good chance we're going to get to the low. Now, we rejected the high pretty well, but the momentum afterwards has been quite corrective and has been quite slow. It's not like the previous moves where we saw a bit more momentum. Here it's like the market's having a pullback of this move, if anything. Maybe that could be the play that pound USD wants to favor this week. I don't know. But I've been looking for moves to the downside for pound. And I said I was looking to get back involved. But I've lost a little bit of love for pound USD. And it's not looking as favorable as it was last week. I'm not a big fan on how we've kind of rounded off a little bit. Yes, we were seeing some nice momentum. But that's kind of gone a little bit stale at the moment. I'm not a fan of how we pull back there either. We could see another low high form and another move back down, but I'm not quite sold on this pullback, especially because it took its time to push up. And it looks to me like pound USD is kind of rounding off a little bit, especially looking at the hourly. You know, this is not healthy price action for a trend continuation. You want to see price breaking lows, do it with aggression, and that's a sign of a market's likely to continue. This is a sign of we may continue, but we're struggling at the lows. There's a good chance we could reverse as well, and especially given the conditions of pound USD. It's inside a big range. It's not the best conditions either. So yeah, pound USD, I still do have that bearish bias because nothing has changed. We haven't taken out this high yet. We very much could come back into that high, respect it, and fall. But in terms of quality, which is the emphasis here, we want quality over quantity. Not really seeing the quality shine here with pound USD shorts. Could still sell off, but I'm not a big fan of the price action anymore. Euro USD has been quite hectic as well. We had a big gap to the upside this weekend, which has made things a little bit interesting as well. Again, maybe Euro USD is going to form a lower high at some point and still take a dive. For me, this is our last major swing high, which gave us the low all the way down here. Maybe price wants to have a deeper correction and then a big sell-off. I think if we come back into this area here, I will consult price, see what we're saying. That to me is still a nice place to short. It was a place I was looking to short a couple of weeks back. Start to consolidate. And now it looks like we may be on our way to test that level. So my attention will be back around that area. And I'm still bearish on Euro USD. I'll take a look at the DXY in a moment. But yeah, it's an awkward price action, I must say. Awkward. Even for the buys, it looks a little bit weird. So yeah, in terms of the DXY, yeah, DXY is still just about holding on to that low. As I was saying last week, as long as we respect this low, I'm still going to be bullish on the dollar. Still seeing higher highs and higher lows. So I'm anticipating more of the same. Unless we go and break through 105, 300, 400, which is that low. And then that really does put a span in the works. And I'll reanalyze and go from there. But dollar has been bullish for the past couple of weeks now. We've been seeing higher highs and higher lows. And as long as that pattern sustains, I do think we're just going to come back into that high. So that is still the plan A. Still what I'm expecting from the market. But yeah, if we go and do this, then I'll probably reanalyze things. And not necessarily become bearish, but I'll definitely pause in that bullish bias. But for now, still bullish dollar, so still bearish euro, still bearish pound. Just not a big fan of how things are setting up, and I think my attention is probably going to go to more towards Euro this week on this level here, especially after that big gap to the upside. Let me know your thoughts on the dollar pairs. Yes, we do have NFP this week. It will be interesting. Very interesting to see what happens. Again, I feel like the market's crying out for a bit of news as well. We had some big news events 2-3 weeks back with the CPI, NFP, kind of back to back. I think the Fed interest rate decision as well. Didn't really do too much. I think we had a bit of this, so there was some nice momentum there. Then it just kind of went stale, which is not great. Hey, geez, more upgrading. I rate it, my man. Yes, I will take a look at NZUSD, Aussie New Zealand dollar, Aussie yen. Chris, what's up, Frenessus? Welcome to the stream. Indices, we'll take a look as well. No problemo. Okay, boy, holding to 175, 174, 600. Let me have a quick look how far that is. Yeah, Euro yen exploded. I mean, all the yen pairs kind of the same thing, but Euro was a little bit stronger because of that gap we had this weekend. So Euro yen really used that to its advantage. So 174.6 is all the way up there. 175 there. So what was that? Another 200, 300 pips? No, I got that completely wrong. 124 pips. So yeah, I mean, at the moment in time, Euro yen is really, really bullish. How far it goes, I don't know. I have no idea, because we've broken a lot of structure right now. We're in territory we haven't been in a long, long while. Taking out major highs like this one here as well. So we're in areas where we haven't been for decades. So it's an interesting time for the yen pairs. Again, as a person who focuses on market structure, market structure's up, I'm bullish. The market structure's down, I'm bearish. Simple stuff. Euro yen is still very, very bullish as well. Like I said, how far it goes, I don't know, but judging on momentum, everything is still looking pretty sweet for the buyers, I must say. I think in general, looking at the yen pairs briefly, they're all showing a lot of strength. Anyway, let me go through New Zealand dollar, Aussie New Zealand dollar, Aussie yen, and we'll go through some indices as well. So with NZUSD, another dollar pair. Now this one's just a little bit awkward. I've been looking for downside for this one, and I'm still looking for downside. Again, if I zoom out to the higher time frames, you can see the daily chart overall is being pretty consistent with all of these lower highs over here. So I do think the odds of us continuing that pattern than not continuing is of course greater. So I do think with NZUSD, there's a good chance we're getting back to this low eventually. So I'm looking at shorts for NZUSD, still bullish on the dollar, so that still remains intact. Just trying to find a good opportunity to short it. I was talking about the break and retest of this opportunity here last week. I said it wasn't big enough for my liking because price was trading inside of this range here. I want to see a bigger break of that range before considering a retest. So what I'm looking at is NZUSD dropping a lot heavier and then looking for the next pullback after that. Because if my bias is correct and we do get back to these lows, again, whether I get a trade entry up here or somewhere down here, doesn't make too much difference if the market's going to go there anyway. All I'm looking at is a good setup to short it. So NZUSD, I want to see a bit more downside, and I'll look at the next pullback after that. I'm not quite sold on the breaking me test of the level here. It's not a big enough break for my liking given the size of that range. It could definitely play out, but I'd much rather trade a pullback where we've had a really big breakout, not necessarily really big, but big enough breakout, and then a pullback and a retest after that. That's kind of where I want to focus my efforts. This is not quite big enough for me. It's me being a bit picky, but it's picky for a reason. But yeah, NZUSD I'm bearish, and I'm looking for us to eventually come back to 0.58700. So very, very bearish on NZUSD. In terms of Aussie New Zealand dollar, I haven't really been focused on this pair at all, to be honest. Just conditions have not been great. I said there's a good chance we can hold resistance here, but it looks like price is kind of breaking through it. A lot of resistance in this area around 1.09175. A lot of resistance here. Does look like price is breaking through that. Again, it's an awkward one. The direction is not really clear. What is price trying to do? I have absolutely no idea. Maybe it's slowly bottoming out, getting ready for a big break higher, possibly, but that could take weeks, months, potentially years for that to happen. So it's not really a move I'm going to look at in much detail. Over the past kind of year, we've been sideways, we've been up, down. So it's been difficult to trade this. Definitely if you're looking for swings and trends, this is not the way to trade this market. Yeah, I was going to draw a trend line there, but it's not really respecting it much. So yeah, I would say wait for price to come back to the next area value, which would be this high, and then simply looking to take some shorts off the back of that. Because the way you wanted to take advantage of a market like this is just buy where all the buyers are buying and selling where all the sellers are selling, and generally speaking, the highest point possible, the lowest point possible. So now that this level doesn't look like it's holding, the next point of interest would be the high up there. And then you're looking to catch a reaction off that. In terms of buys, you're kind of looking around the 1.06 mark. So with Aussie, New Zealand dollar, I'd wait for a lot more upside and then try and catch some sells up here. Again, whether we get a huge sell back to the low, I have no idea, or just a short-term reaction, that'll be up to the market. But I do think if you're looking to trade this one, you're trying to catch retest, and you're trying to buy higher than other, trying to sell higher than other sellers and buy lower than other buyers, really. That's the aim of the game when you've got conditions like this. So yeah, that's my 2 pence on the Aussie New Zealand dollar. Horrendous conditions, but if I was going to trade it, I would be looking to sell up high. In terms of Aussie yen, so Aussie yen, I'll speak a lot about this one because this is one of the yen pairs which I did like, because it left behind a really solid level of resistance, which it broke through pretty cleanly. But of course, Aussie yen being Aussie yen, it decided not to retest it and just continue flying. So prices had a really exceptional breakout above this level, and it's come to a point now where we're kind of too far for me to even consider that level at the moment. So yeah, with this one, it's kind of more lower time frame areas. I remember I was talking about this area here last week, didn't see a retest of that. Now this area becomes interesting now because, again, another consolidation, really sharp break to the upside. This area here, maybe in the hourly chart, makes a lot more sense for a buy. Say we get a nice pullback into that area, maybe some wicks form. I think that's a nice place to try and catch that next long move to the upside, because for what we're seeing right now, trend is very, very much up. High time frames look strong, monthly, weekly, daily, all showing strength to the upside. Momentum is looking really good. So there's no point to try and catch some sells here unless you're going to be very, very in and out just for a few pips. Then maybe I can get behind that. But yeah, the money's flowing to the upside. So yeah, as a trade, as a retail trade, you just kind of want to take advantage of that. So yeah, pullbacks to 107, I think make a lot of sense. This area still looks good, but we're just very, very far away, so I wouldn't really consider that much now. But a retest of that range looks promising. Let me see quickly how the Japanese index is doing. Was that breaking higher? Yeah, it did kind of break higher, but it's not really setting the market alight here. The overall price action is still very corrective. We still may be heading to the high there, and if that is the case, that will drag the yen pairs with it as well. Should be very, very interesting to see. But yeah, it's still quite correct. I wouldn't be surprised if we have another sell-off, to be honest. Anyway, we'll go through some of the major indices: US 30, S&P. Where was I? What's wrong with the market? It's too uncertain. Yeah, I mean, it's just cycles, Big Bang. It's just cycles. The market will go in and out of different cycles of trending, free flowing. Then it will go through a cycle of not really doing too much, and it'll be a little bit stale. It'll be a bit sideways. The market goes in and out of these cycles. Like the MPES right now, going through a crazy trend right now. I can almost guarantee you that, I don't know, maybe within 6 months or a year's time, the yen pairs are going to get very, very choppy, and they're going to be very stagnant, and there's going to be a lot of up and down moves, because if you look at the history of FX pairs in general, we go through periods of trend and periods of consolidation. So when we're in that period of consolidation, things don't look good, but you expect the market to be trending soon come, and vice versa. When we're trending, expect it to go through a range phase as well. And yeah, for the dollar pairs, it's kind of very, very choppy right now. Just like 2022, the market was expanding, really healthy trends, things were looking amazing. Now we're kind of going through a cycle where we're seeing the opposite. What's up, Devon? Welcome to the stream. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Hope you're well. Yes, MV, I'll take a look at gold as well. I'll go through a couple of indices, then we'll take a look at gold. Good morning, Lordo. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Yes, we'll take a look at silver too. I exited my pound USD position last week, Thursday or Friday. Can't remember which day, but I was taking out pound USD for roughly 1 hour profit. Was trailed out. But let me go through some indices. So with US 30, yeah, what is that price action? That's horrendous stuff there for US 30. Again, for me, I'm still very bullish on US 30, so I'm expecting price to make its way back to the high, which is all the way up here, rough or just above 40k. So I do think that's where price is likely to head to next. I'm looking at the higher time frame, still seeing consistent higher lows. Momentum still looks good. A little bit corrective now, which is not the best. I think the other indices are a bit more free flowing, a bit more attractive to trade, and we'll touch on them in a moment. But yeah, with US 30, I was talking about this channel here we're working in, and I said if we were to see another pullback, I think that would be a much better buy prospect, because maybe people getting involved here, buying and selling, kind of battling each other out. Maybe if we do see price break to the downside, kind of flush out some early buyers, and then look to get back in the market on a rebound or a retest or a third higher low. I think that could be a really nice opportunity. But inside of that area there, it looks absolutely hectic. I'm looking at the hourly chart, not looking great either. If you're looking for buys, you kind of want to wait for price to stab down first and then try and catch a buy off the back of that. Looking to buy and sell in here is a very, very difficult thing to do, just because of the way price is moving not well at all. But yeah, in terms of my kind of long-term swing bias, I do think there's more upside for US 30. So I'd only be focused on the bias for this one, because that's where I do think the bigger move lies. But yeah, inside that kind of area, inside that bubble there, I wouldn't look to touch price. Way too sideways and all over the place. So yeah, US 30, expecting more upside. S&P, okay, S&P is a little bit awkward as well. I haven't really looked at the indices, to be honest, since last Thursday or Friday. So this is all new information to me. But yeah, S&P, we did see that new high form, so it kind of did its job in terms of creating a new high, testing resistance again. But that was a really, really big rejection of that high, I must say. 55.18, really big rejection of that high. Not looking great, I must say. We had a nice breaking test earlier. Price came back into the consolidation here, where price ranged for a few days before a really impressive breakout. Price came back for a nice retest, and then we saw the continuation to the high. Now that price has done that and rejected the high that well, I think I would probably just box off price here as as a range and wait for this next move outside of that. Because I wouldn't be too surprised. Excuse me. I wouldn't be too surprised if S&P wants to go for its next pullback. Because if I go to the daily chart real quick, we've got this major swing high in the daily chart, which pullback create a major swing low, and this create a new high. I wouldn't be surprised if it's time for the market to retrace and see that next higher high in the daily chart, which could be here potentially. So yeah, if we do see an impressive break to the downside outside of that consolidation, say for example we continue to range and then we get a really big break like this, that could be the catalyst for a lot more downside and maybe some retest to take some shorts. Likewise, if the market says it's not done yet, it wants to continue higher, and we see another impressive break to the upside, because that has been the theme of the market as of late. Consolidation, big break to the upside, consolidation, big break to the upside, consolidation, big break to the upside. Maybe we're just forming even bigger consolidation for another big break to the upside. So if that's the case, let's wait for the breakout and then find some retest and just continue the pattern that price has been doing so well for the past two or 3 weeks. So if that's the case, waiting for a break to the upside. If we want to reverse and put in that next major high in the daily chart, let's wait for a strong break to the downside. But either which way, all I'm saying is wait for a breakout really, because inside of there, I'm not too sure what price is doing, especially after that big rejection here. That wouldn't give me so much confidence to be looking to buy the market again, unless we break through that high really well, because that is a pretty big rejection. How is NAS looking? Similar, but we didn't create a new high, so that kind of gives me a little bit more hope, because I feel like price may respect support again and then go and take out that high. So I think generally speaking, buys around here again make a lot more sense. This is where we rejected it a couple times. Lousy attempt to try and make a new high. Maybe we've come back down, test support again. That could give us another oomph to try and go and take up the highs again. But yeah, in general, I'm very bullish on the indices still. I think if we do break structure, then that's when I put a pause to that. So for example, if NAS go and breaks through this low, I'll put a pause to that bias. If S&P breaks out the range to the downside, I'll put a pause on that bias. And if US 30 breaks out this channel, I'll definitely put a pause on that bullish bias. But for now, we're respecting it. So still expecting higher prices for all of them. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the indices. I'll take a look at gold next. If I have missed out a pair, definitely have missed out a pair somewhere. Just drop it down in the chat again. But I'll go through gold, silver next. What's up, Game City? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Inverse head and shoulder on gold 4-hour time frame. Well, we're about to take a look. Mate, don't worry, England's still going to win the tournament. Do not worry about England. They'll do it the hard way. I appreciate that, Game City. If you guys are enjoying this stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe. It really does help out. And make sure you do hit the bell as well. Don't miss out on any streams uploads in the future. But I do appreciate everyone who has liked the stream and subscribed as well. It does really help out. No problem, Chris. Happy to help. Hey, what's up, Anis? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. That's the attitude, my man. That is the attitude. Yeah, let's set a like goal. Let's set a like goal. I don't know. I think 40 likes is humble. 40 likes is humble. Or maybe 45. Let's see if we can get 45 likes by the end of the stream. Yes, so we'll take a look at oil as well. Okay, first let me go through gold. So gold. It hasn't been that fruitful as of late. Again, the direction for me on the higher time frames is still very, very bullish. We've had a crazy breakout. As we can see, the market's been trending quite well to the upside. So I'm always still expecting a big swing to the upside. However, on the 4 hour and the lower time frames, the hourly, things get a lot more choppy, a lot more confusing. Truthfully, in terms of my personal trading, I'm kind of just waiting for gold to clear up, and then I'll start to find some entries possibly to take gold higher. So I'm not really too bothered about gold's price action because there's other markets that look a little bit better, a little bit more promising. As a result, they have my attention. But gold, not really. Again, I'm still looking for the buys, and as I said in my weekly analysis, I want to see price start putting some higher highs and higher lows, and then I'll start considering some buys after that. Maybe a breaking retest somewhere or a retest of that high. I have no idea. It depends how price shapes up. But that's kind of what I want to see for me to then get into buys. If I'm looking to sell gold, then I kind of want price to take out this low here. This is the low. This is the low that gave us the swing high. So if the market goes and breaks through that, for me, that's a big indication that we could see some more downside. And especially with the lower highs we've been pretty consistent with, high over there, second high over there, third high there potentially. If you go and break the low, I'll be looking for the fourth and a retest of some structure somewhere. So I do like the idea of more downside for gold as well, if we go and break through some structure and we keep up with this impulse momentum, because we've seen some really big moves for gold. Here, a little bit over here as well. If we see another one, you know, that's a sign that we can see some more downside. I still think it'll be short term, as in I think it would just be a bigger pullback for price before eventually doing something like that. But it might still be worthwhile on the short side of things. But yeah, for now, gold is... Because gold's in the middle of nowhere as well. We're neither at the low or the high. The high generally being this kind of area, and the low generally being this kind of area here. Neither in those areas too. If it were closer to this area here, you can be favoring some sells, anticipating another high to come back down again. If price was trading at the lows here, you could be favoring some buys to try and catch a bounce off the low. But right now, I'm not seeing anything. Price is in the middle. It's kind of consolidating in the middle as well. So it's kind of not great at all. So yeah, really with gold, I don't really have too much to say about it. I'm kind of a bit more neutral right now. Yes, still kind of waiting for that longer term buy, but not really seeing much to do anything with it. As I said, if we come a little bit closer to the extreme points, closer to the highs, maybe you can favor some sells up there or some buys down low, but generally speaking in there, yeah, I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't touch it. Yeah, so we'll take a look at oil as well. I'll go through silver first. Yeah, I mean, Sculpey, I think, are you talking about like this tool or something? Because that pretty much does the job in terms of giving you a horizontal line without doing the old. I think it's just habit, to be honest. I think it's just habit for me, because this is definitely the easier option to draw a horizontal line. But yeah, I kind of use that out of habit. But yeah, that is definitely easier. Definitely easier. But yeah, in terms of gold, that's kind of what I'm looking at. If you come a little bit higher up, I can make a bit more sense of that. Likewise, if you come a lot lower down, close to support, naturally you can be favourite buys there. So I can make a bit more sense of that. But where we are right now, I wouldn't touch it because I don't really have too much edge there. What's up, Godfrey? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Wait, more? What are you talking about, mate? Are you talking about England, as in football England? England did go through, mate. If you're talking about football, they did end up going through. If If you're talking about a different sport, then I have no idea. Okay, let me go through silver, and I'll take a look at oil as well. So yeah, silver, kind of a similar situation as with gold, but it's a little bit more clearer. Again, in terms of finding a place to buy, I'm not even too sure with this one. I'm kind of still waiting for some higher highs and higher lows to creep in first. And again, I'll look to try and pick up somewhere in a retest like this. Again, very, very theoretical, but that's kind of what I'm waiting for silver, because still very bullish on it. Again, if I expand to the daily chart, you can see the bullish swings here pretty clear for everyone to see. You got low there, high, higher high, higher low, higher high, and again, we're anticipating another higher low for a continuation to the upside. So the price action for me is pretty straightforward. It's just in terms of finding a setup, that's where it gets a little bit tricky. I think we've lost the trendline confluence last week. Connecting the dots here, we kind of lost that a little bit. Now again, is that break of a trend line significant enough for me to say, okay, price is going to melt to the downside? No. Again, trend lines, I do really like trend lines, but a small break like that is not really going to impact direction so much for me. Of course, if you had a massive break like this, that's something else, but I've seen many times where prices fake the trend line and then continue in the direction. Anyway, so I still do expect price to head high, but we have lost that confidence a little bit. Price is sort of still holding on to this level. It's a little bit 50-50 at the moment on the daily chart. It's kind of losing both confluences a little bit, which makes things a little bit grey. So that's kind of why I'm wanting price to start printing some higher highs and higher lows, and that will make things a little bit simpler for me, because I'll look for break and retest somewhere and then plot an entry from that. But the goal for silver is to try and trade it back to the high here at 32.3. So expecting a lot more upside for silver and gold as well. Just not really a big fan of the current price action. Yeah, 95th minute goal, equaliser, then score. Harry Kane scored in extra time. Okay, that's what we're going to use. Okay, something that doesn't raid the whole screen. Yeah, so that would probably be, I don't know, because this of course goes the whole screen to the right. I don't know if there's a tool that just does it horizontal straight away, because you've obviously got a horizontal line completely, which is just a line going across the screen both sides. Yeah, I think the compromise is the horizontal ray, but you're going all the way to the right. I think, is there a setting? No, there isn't. Yeah, I think there isn't really. I think that's probably why I started using that way back, because originally why I started using this was just for trend lines, and then I started using it a little bit to pinpoint swings and levels, and then I just started using the old shift key, which helps make it horizontal, but it can be a bit annoying sometimes. No problem, Lord. Happy to help. And with oil, so yeah, oil's been really bullish as well. I've been looking for some higher lows, but nothing's really sat up for me. Again, I don't really look to trade oil, but from my analysis anyway, looking for a higher low somewhere to retest some structure over here, which is basically what I've been talking about. Retest that area, possibly find a higher low, and then continuation. I was talking about this area here a few weeks back as well, but we just never saw the retest of that level. I do think oil's got a lot more upside. I'm looking at the structure here as a really big sell-off to the downside, and then price broke to the upside there. So I'm looking at this as a kind of a big kind of fake out, big flush to the downside. Now price completely reversed that, breaking structure, So I am looking next for oil is just a higher low and some higher highs. That is the plan for oil. Lovely break of structure here. So if price does see some downside, I'm expecting that just to give us the next higher low in its sequence to then see some higher prices. And realistically, this is the area I would be focusing on. That resistance there around 79.13. Or maybe if we come all the way down here, 77 looks good as well, but I'm not too sure we got enough juice to get all the way there. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at oil. I'm looking very, very bullish on oil. I do think we see high prices. I think because we are looking a little bit corrective now, I feel like it's time for us to see some retracement. I feel like that's overdue a little bit. I wouldn't look to sell it though. Wouldn't look to sell it. But if we can see some downside, fantastic. And then looking for that next higher low somewhere. The shift key. No, I had no idea what you're talking about there, Sculpey. But me accidentally just mentioning that information has helped you out. Great to hear. Mighty King, New Zealand CHF, I will take a look at as well. Yeah, it has done. It has done. 82, I think it peaked around 82.50. But yeah, I think oil has a lot more upside to it. Just need to see a pullback, and I feel like that's a great place to find some entries and take it higher. No way. And Sculpey, you don't even trade Mondays, mate, but you've come onto the stream and it's changed your life, mate, so spread the word. I think if you go take a look at the settings thing on trading, where is it again? Is it here? I forget where it is, but there's a place where you can find all the shortcuts on the keypad, and it gives you so many different things. Okay, so Mighty King, I will take a look at NZDCHF. Pound CAD we'll take a look at as well, no problema. No, I'm not in a trade on NZDUSD. I'm not in a trade. I am looking at more downside for NZDUSD, but I'm not a big fan of the current price action. The breakout for me is a little bit too shallow. I said before I was looking for a really big push to downside and then a pullback. And by really big push, I just mean something that kind of compares to how we've been fluctuating inside the range. Because if we kind of see minuscule breakouts, they don't really add to much most of the time. But if you see a breakout that really sets pace, there's a likelihood that this breakout's for real, and we're likely going to see more downside. Of course, nothing's perfect. There are some times where you get big fake outs too, but at least they hold up better than shallow ones. So I'm looking for price to see a little bit more downside first for NZUSD, and then I'll find some entries to take some retests and some shorts. This is what I'm looking for NZUSD to head to, but no, I'm not going to enter there just yet. But if we do see a drop like this, I'll try and find the next pullback after, maybe a retest of this low. I have no idea how it will shape up, but that's something that could be fitting the mold. In terms of New Zealand CHF, we were touching upon this one at the start of the stream, how we're looking now. And look at that, we pull back up. That's always why you got to wait for candlestick closures. If you're going to use candlestick patterns to enter your trades, that is. If you're going to use candlestick patterns, engulfing candles, pin bars, whatever, if you're going to use that for your confluence or your entry, then always wait for candlesticks to close, because if you don't, things can change pretty quickly. At the start of the stream, this was looking pretty bearish. It looked like we're forming a bearish engulf, but with 7 minutes to go before the candle closes, we're closing the doji here. So with New Zealand CHF, in terms of the technicals, I like where we're trading. I like the fact that we could be seeing a lower high in this area and see some downside. I'm looking at these major swings, one over there, another one over there, a low down there, and possibly a third one over here as well. I think we probably push into the 0.618 of this level. Yes, we have. So we're in a nice place where we could see a lower high. Whether we do or not, that's up to New Zealand CHF. But this isn't a great place for a short. There's meaning to this area. Now what I'd want to see is some rejection and a big shift of momentum to get me into the trade. So that would be a nice bearish engulfing candle, some nice momentum there, entering off the back of that, stop loss above the high. And again, try to anticipate some downside. And I think, push to this area here is a nice first target, a lot of support in this area. And then if you're lucky, maybe you can push it to the lows there. So that could be a nice plan for a trade. But the key thing is that entry trigger. The key thing is that signal that price is rejecting that level, which we're not really seeing just yet. 6 minutes to go. Likelihood of us closing as a bearish engulfing is quite slim. I've seen it before. We sometimes could give some strong moves towards the end of a candle closure, but not looking good right now. So maybe the next candle after this one could be fruitful. So keep an eye out for that. But in terms of the location, I really like it. And I like this as a first target as well. But of course, that can be up to you how you want to manage that trade. But that is what I'll be looking at for New Zealand CHF. Pound CADs we'll take a look at as well. Of course, Sculpey. Of course. I think that's where you can you can excel your learning curve with trading a lot, especially on the weekends when the markets are closed. Because a lot of the time if you're trying to study and improve during the week, as well as trade, especially in the beginning, it's quite difficult because your mind's kind of focused on the chart as well and the market moving, price moving, you're trying to find trades, and then you're trying to improve as well. There's a lot of emotion involved in that. But when it's the weekend and you're not looking to trade because you can't, the markets are closed unless you're trading crypto, of course, you kind of only focused on reviewing and improving and studying. So a lot of progress, at least for me anyway, happens on the weekends. What is up, Casperio? Welcome to the stream. Pound USD tap resistance. Yeah, I'll go through Pound USD. I'm not as big fan of Pound USD as I was last week. Price action has got a little bit awkward. I'll explain why in a moment. Lord, I will take a look at USD CAD as well. Rating itself for a buy. Again, I'm still pretty bullish on dollar, so USD CADs, I'm bullish on that one as well. But price action is not particularly great. But let me go through Pound CAD first. So Pound CAD, I said I was looking for buys on my weekly analysis. I still am. But it's not quite at my area. It's broken through the first level I was talking about, which was a retest of this high. So this was the first level I wanted to buy from. I'm trying to get it to the wick. There we go. So this is the first level I wanted to buy from, and we had nice resistance here once. The second time there was support there as well. So I was hoping price could get there, throw some wicks again, and I'll look for the next buying opportunity. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. The market broke through the level and started to use it as resistance. So not really what I was wanting to see, but I did have a second level down here, and I still do, which is where I'm waiting for price to come to next. Lovely resistance over here, really big breakout, no kind of big retest yet. So I was hoping price will kind of sell off a little bit further this week. Still could do as well, and now I'll look for the buy there to the upside. And that still is the plan, unless maybe price decides it wants to break back above this area, which it's trying to do now at the moment. But yeah, I'm looking for buys around 1.724 to take that to the upside. But Pound CAD for me in the higher time frames is still pretty bullish. I'm looking at the overall structure at play here. You can see higher highs and higher lows pretty consistently. Again, it's not the best trend in the world. We are still quite corrective here, but we have been consistent with those higher lows. So as long as they stay intact, I do think we can still see higher prices. And 1.725 is a place where I'd like to buy the market from. At the moment, we're kind of just ranging. So yeah, let's see if we can break that to the downside, retest some structure, and be on our way. But that is my verdict for pound CAD. In terms of pound USD, so yeah, pound USD, I was looking to sell this one to get back involved. I'm still bearish on pound. Again, if I could expand to the daily chart, I'm still looking at this as a range. Couple fake outs to the upside, a fake out to the downside. We rejected the high pretty well. So I'm looking for price to get to that lower end of the channel and go and test that support level. But it's been a difficult journey because price has been so corrective on our way down. This is not really what I want to be seeing. I want to see a bit more momentum in these moves. Price could still end up at this low here, but the more corrective we look, the less quality the setup possesses and the less likely I am to trade it. Yes, we're coming back into this kind of area here, which was the level I shorted from last week. But I must admit, I'm not a big fan of how things are shaping up, especially how we're kind of rounding up here as well. From my experience, when price starts to round at the bottom or round at the top, it's more of a sign of price topping out or bottoming out and likely for a reversal rather than a continuation. So I'm not a big fan of how we're getting this pullback and how it's kind of rounding. Again, it's me being picky, but it's the pickiness I've picked up over experience that tells me, okay, this trade looks really good, or this trade doesn't look as good, or maybe not take this trade. And that's kind of the sign I'm getting for pound USD. Now, we still definitely could sell off from here and see another lower high. As I said in my weekly analysis, as long as we don't take out this high here, I still retain that bearish bias. If we go and break that structure, then yeah, I'll completely not be looking at shorts anymore. But yeah, we are still respecting that high, so we still could sell off. I'm just not like how we're shaping up. Euro looks a little bit more attractive to me. A retest of this low here, if we can get there, that'll be fantastic. Euro looks a little bit more attractive to me because it looks like price is kind of breaking out the consolidation, taking out some stops above here, testing a big high over there. Maybe price is going to form its next lower high at this level. I can get behind that a little bit more because this is kind of just sideways, maybe a big fake out and then a big sell-off. I can get behind that a little bit more. Pound USD is a bit more rounded at the bottom. Again, it's me being picky, but it's pickiness for a reason. But yeah, it has tested that area, so shorts do make sense from that. But for the reasons I explained, I'd rather be looking to short Euro this week actually, rather than pound USD. But then again, Euro and pound USD are very, very similar pairs. So if Euro drops this week, unless something crazy is happening to pound's going to drop as well. So it's essentially the same trade. We're banking on dollar continuing up this week, which is still the play I have. Dollar for me, as long as it doesn't take out this low, I'm still looking at DXY pushing back to the high over there. If I expand to the daily chart, we've been pretty consistent here with the higher lows. I'm looking for that to continue, for us to at least get back to the high there. That is still very much the plan at play for dollar. So yeah, I'm still dollar bullishness. I'm still dollar bull. So pound, I expect lower prices. Euro, I expect lower prices. But again, as a technical trade, I've got to look for characteristics and take things into consideration. Euro looks a lot better to me. Pound, not so much. Even NZUSD looks a little bit better than pound, but again, I would like a bigger breakout there. In terms of USD CAD, yeah, I'm not sure about USD CAD. Again, I still do favor this for USD CAD. I'm still very much a dollar bull. I think we're still just about respecting the trend line on the daily chart. Kind of, yeah, still respecting that trend line there. So again, as long as we maintain that, I do think the probability is that we do push back to the high. I think that's the likely move. But yeah, I can see other dollar pairs that are moving better, so that's where my focus will be. Pound USD, even pound USD looks a lot better than USD CAD. I'd rather trade that one. than dollar CAD at the moment. But yeah, if you're looking to try and buy at that trend line and anticipate a bounce at the trend line, then it makes perfect sense here. Respecting the trend line, I think a conservative stop loss would be below this wick here. Of course, that would make your risk reward not as favorable, but it would give you kind of the best opportunity to catch a winning trade, which is definitely very, very important. Because if price is going to take your stop loss here, it's either we're having a really big fake out, really big wick, or price is likely going to break lower anyway. So that is a nice place for a stop loss. If you want to be a bit more aggressive, maximize that risk reward, but of course, increase the probability of you getting stopped out. Below this wick here would give you that prospect. Much better risk rewards, still in a relatively safe place, but you kind of open up a bit more risk there to the downside. There's no right or wrong. Really, you can have your stop loss underneath this low or that low. There's no right or wrong. It's just you're playing into different advantages and disadvantages. Here you're maximizing your risk reward. Here you're kind of maximizing the chance of being right. But yeah, it's not a bad idea. It's just USD CAD's price action is just sideways. So yeah, and it's really, really sideways. It's not like a 50-50 sideways. It's really sideways. So yeah, when markets move like this, rule for fun for me is just to stay out the way, even if I do have a higher time frame bias or whatever. Even with USD CAD, the high time frame bias is not even rock solid, because I'm looking at USD CAD on the daily chart, or I think the weekly chart will cover it more. Well, sideways as well on the weekly chart as well. So it's not that great. If the high time frame trend was like the yen pair right now, then I can get behind that a little bit more. But it's not. We're kind of inside a bigger range anyway. So yeah, that's kind of my 2 pence for USD CAD. I do think the likelihood is we still get to the high. I still think dollar does push up. I still think as long as we respect the trend line, we're likely to continue anyway. So that for me is still the likely move. Just conditions aren't great. I'd rather be focusing on euro. Excuse me. So yeah, hopefully that made sense. Where was I? Pound yen. Okay, we'll take a look. UCCHF, no problem. UNSD, Pound NSD, we'll take a look. Blessing. Aussie yen, we'll take a look. What's up, FX Wolf? Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream, my man. Good morning. Good morning. Dark short indicator printed a short on your USD. Okay, nice. What indicator is that are you using? But yeah, I mean, for euro, I like the idea for short. I just want it to be a little bit higher up because I don't really have a level here. I mean, probably argue that resistance there is what price is coming into respect. But the whole idea for me why I like Euro USD is because we're kind of consolidating, and then you got a battle between buyers and sellers in here, and then what we're seeing is price faking one way to then potentially go the other. So that's why I like Euro USD, because it's kind of getting rid of the early sellers, and then potentially we're going to see that move to the downside. That's kind of my thought process. But yeah, realistically, I want price to test this support level, this resistance level, before I do get anything. Potentially might be faking and just coming back underneath. That could be the play for euro. But yeah, I'd rather be shorting at that resistance there, because I wasn't expecting that such a big gap this week, and the gaps normally do fill as well. So there's a good strong chance that euro does continue to bleed. But yeah, this is the level which I was talking about. So that for me is still the trade at play. And we are seeing some strength in the dollar at the moment. Anyway, so I'll go through pound yen, and then we'll take a look at dollar CHF, pound NSD, Euro NSD, Aussie yen as well. What's up, William? Good morning. Hope you're well. No problem, man. Better late than never. Okay, ultimate buy and sell indicator by Sherlock. Yeah, I don't know who that is. But yeah, I've never heard of that indicator before. Never heard of that. But yeah, I mean, there's a million different ways to digest and look at the market, really. Yeah, whichever indicator you're looking at, style of trading doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, we're all trading the same market. The market makes highs, makes lows. All we're looking to do is try and catch those same highs and lows. That's the aim of the game. Or if you're looking for breakouts, buy high and sell higher. But however which way you do it, doesn't really matter as long as you do it. Okay, so let me go through pound yen first, and then I'll take a look at dollar CHF. So with pound yen, again, it's difficult with this one because we're still just pushing higher. I think realistically, if you want to get involved with pound yen, you got to be looking at like the hourly chart. You're kind of looking for pullbacks, like this to happen. Nice kind of sell off and then a big kind of reaction after. That's kind of what you're looking for. I like the high over here. If we can see something of that nature again, nice little sell off, and then you look to enter and take that next buy. But yeah, on the 4 hour coming into the week, I was talking about a retest of the high at 201,500. At the moment, looking pretty unlikely. Price has really gone and left that level in the dust a little bit. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we do have a big sell-off for the yen pairs and we come back and retest it. It still is a nice place for a long. It's just, it's a pretty big pullback to have in such a short space of time. But then again, the yen pairs do have that capability in it, so I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, keep an eye on 201,500. Maybe we do get there, but realistically, you're looking at kind of areas like that, levels like that, around 203, 400, 500. I think that's a realistic place for a buy. If you can get a retest of that, high or low, continuation to the upside. Because right now, pound yen is really, really bullish. Yen pairs in general are very, very bullish. So you're just kind of taking advantage of that momentum. So yeah, with pound yen, I'm expecting price to continue higher. I'll just be looking at retest and continuations there. In terms of USD-CHF, this one's a little bit more interesting because, again, I said USD-CHF was at a nice level last week because we came back into this level of support resistance, previous support over there, resistance over there. I said it's at a nice area, but I didn't want to trade it because I'm still bullish on dollar, so I didn't want to be shorting USD-CHF whilst retaining a bullish bias on dollar. So I didn't look to pay any mind, and it's still kind of the same situation. I'm still very bullish on dollar, so even though we're approaching again more levels of resistance and supply, we did briefly stall here, big moves to the downside. This is again, it makes sense for a short. I'm just not quite sold because I'm expecting higher prices for dollar this week. We're approaching some nice areas. Maybe we tagged 0.618. So I do think for dollar CHFs, I do think we probably will see some downside this week, but I think it's just going to be something like this for another pullback, another higher low somewhere, and price is likely going to find its feet and push on and continue higher. So yeah, USD-CHF, it's at a nice place for a sell. Really strong momentum previously. For me, this still looks pretty corrective as well, so it could still end up being a pullback. I think as we approach 0.90200, this is a nice place for a sell. I just wouldn't be too optimistic in terms of, okay, I'm expecting price to sell off right back to the low. I think it's a little bit too, asking a bit too much from USD-CHF there. So yeah, I would be looking at a sell, but I think as we approach some of these areas, Support there, support here, or resistance there. Start looking to book some profits. But yeah, I do think dollar's likely to see more upside, so I'm not going to be so bullish on UCHF. But right now, it's a great place for a sell, so I would be looking for some signals that price is rejecting those areas, which at the moment we're not really seeing. And then I'll see if we can get some entries on the 4 hour or hourly, but it's more for the moment, more for the session, not trying to swing this one. Okay, more, no problem, my man. Enjoy your lunch. Okay, so Euro NZD, Pound NZD, Aussie Yen, we'll take a look next. No problem, Rick. Happy to help. Casperio, DXY test major support 2 in the 4 hour. Yeah, it does look like DXY is bouncing, to be honest. Excuse me. It does look like DXY is bouncing on that area. To be honest, we're seeing some nice momentum to the upside there on the DXY. I'm looking at the hourly chart, some nice momentum. I think Euro's looking a little bit weak as well. So yeah, maybe this is that next higher low for dollar. Maybe this is that next higher low. Again, it's in an area where I would expect it to be. If this isn't going to be the next higher low and we don't push up from here, then maybe my bias is going to be proven incorrect with dollar. But for now, we're still respecting support, we're still respecting demand, and this is a prime area for higher low to fall. So it's not a bad shout for another move to the upside. In terms of other dollar pairs, it's not clean for me. Pound USD, I can understand we are retesting resistance there, but I'm not liking this kind of bowl-shaped pattern. Euro I do like. It's just, it would be nice if we were testing that level there. And the USD is not bad. It's just the breakout's not big enough for me. Aussie dollar, that one's absolute myth. I wouldn't touch that. UCHF is not really in any place for a buy at all, or at least in the 4 hour it isn't. Yeah, in gold and silver, I'm not really interested in shorting them right now. So yeah, Euro USD looks like the most promising. It's just missing out on my level at the moment. But it does look like dollar could potentially see some upside. Anyway, in terms of Euro NZD and Pound NZD, where we are, okay, there. So yeah, Euro NZD, it's this one reacted really nice off this level of support. So I was liking that with Euro NZD because this is a really big level. Test it once, twice, a third time. Price is obviously showing a lot of respect at this area of support. So I do think we can see some upside, a lot of upside for that matter, from this area. And the way we're moving as well, I like it. It would be better if we had some more strength in those moves, because this is still really corrective, and I wouldn't be surprised if we actually have another big sell-off. For me, this is still the major lower high which sent us down. I wouldn't be surprised if you just put another one in. Would I look to sell it? No. It's quite awkward for Euro NZD. Naturally, buys look good from down here. We've kind of left that area behind now. Kind of more in a bearish territory, but I've been speaking on this descending channel, which it looks like we've finally broken out of. So, yep, we were in a nice descending channel. Price is broken out of that. So I wouldn't really be looking to sell, but I wouldn't really be looking to buy either. It's just in an awkward place if Euro NZD. If we were really impulsive, then I'll be like, okay, we've broken out that descending channel. We tested major support. I'd be looking for a retest of this area for a buy. Which could still happen. It's just, it would be nice if we're seeing some more momentum in those candlesticks. But I think that's probably the best opportunity right now if you're NZD. Still trying to take advantage of that reversal off that low. And a nice breakout of that descending channel. It just would be nice if we were seeing more emphasis on the break of this channel here, break of this resistance here, to take some retest. But that's what makes the most sense to me. If we can hold that, fantastic. If we start breaking through, then yeah, I'll back away. But I do think there is more upside in store for UNZD. Pound NZD, however, that one still looks really clear to me. I know exactly what I'm looking for that one, and I think we're very close to seeing it as well. On the 4 hour, we've had this really hectic price action, but to me, it looks like it's soon coming to an end. And I'm just kind of waiting for that end. We had this lovely descending channel similar to Euro NZD. Of course, Pound NZD, Euro NZD, very similar pairs. UNZD has kind of well and truly broke out of that channel. Maybe not the most impulsive breakout in the world, but we did see some upside. Pound NZD looks like it's just teasing the idea of breaking out of this channel. I think if we do finally see a confident break and clear some resistance as well, I would 100% be looking for a retest and a buy. And I've been talking about the same opportunity for a while. It's just taken a very long time to see that breakout. But again, if I go to the daily chart, we've got a lovely low over here. We've got a high over there, a higher low, a higher high. So again, what I'm looking at is another higher low for another higher high, or at least price to retest that resistance. So from a daily chart, higher time frame chart, there is somewhat trend at play here. And if we do see a strong break outside of this descending channel, then for me, that's an indication that the low time frames are starting to obey that high time frame trend. And then it will just be my job to be looking for pullbacks and to ride that back to the high. So there's a lot of confidence here for Pound NZD. I think generally speaking, the daily chart has seen some upside for a while. So yeah, I do think there's a good chance we do continue higher. Just need to see that break, retest, and find some entries off the back of that. So Pound NZD looks a lot clearer to me than Euro. But again, yeah, they'll probably make the same move as well. Same with Euro and Pound USD. Probably make the same move. So yeah, hopefully that made sense on those currency pairs. We'll take a look at Aussie Yen next as well. If I have missed out your pair, just drop it down in the chat again. Okay, you're long USD CAD, so yeah, I'll touch on USD CAD briefly in a moment. Yeah, I can definitely second that one, Sculpey. Definitely a weird one. Funny one though. Yes, you're at AUD. I'll take a look. Casperio. 12 o'clock Euro news. Okay, I didn't check that. Okay, no problem, Sculpey. Appreciate it, my man. Have a good one. Catch you on the morrow. Let me check at the news for today. So, Monday the 1st of July, we've got, Portugal unemployment rate at 12. Not too sure about that one. Don't think that will cause much movement in the market. We've got Germany inflation at 1 p.m. That might cause a little bit of movement. Germany's is a big boy in Euro, so maybe that might cause a bit of movement. I don't really focus too much on Germany news, to be honest. Yes, sometimes moves the market a little bit, but like I said, I normally focus on the bigger ones. But yeah, that might move the market around 1 p.m. for Euro. But yeah, I'll be streaming my normal hours, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'll probably do like a little NFP special on Friday. But yeah, German inflation rate, Portuguese unemployment rate, not massive events. What's up, TJ? Good morning. Hope you're well. Retest of monthly trend line. Okay, I'll take a look at that. I haven't looked at a monthly trend line, to be honest, in pound USD, so I'll have a look. Daniel, relation DXY and oil. DXY and oil, of course, US oil is oil against the dollar, so there will be correlation. There'll be an inverse correlation between DXY and oil, because if you're going to trade US against the oil, then it's going to do the opposite. If oil's strong, oil against US dollar should move in the opposite direction. But of course, oil will have other fundamental factors at play, and again, DXY doesn't take into consideration oil like it does with gold. DXY is the US basket with other major currencies like the euro, like the pound, like the Aussie dollar, like the New Zealand dollar, like the Japanese yen. So that DXY basket doesn't include oil. So if DXY is going up, it means dollar is strong against those other currency, not necessarily oil itself. So there will be times where the correlation is doing the exact opposite of what you expect. And of course, there are fundamentals behind oil, which could cause oil to surge or oil to drop, which would definitely affect things as well. So DXY oil, not really something I'll look at too much, but generally speaking, it should be an inverse correlation. But like gold and the DXY, there will be times where the correlation is completely non-existent or doing the exact opposite of what you would expect it to be doing. So you got to take it with a pinch of salt a little bit. Anyway, so let me go through. I think Euro Aussie I said next. No, Aussie yen, and then I'll go through Euro Aussie and a couple more. So yeah, Euro. That's Euro yen. Aussie yen. So yeah, Aussie yen's really bullish. As I was saying earlier, looking for the retest of this area for more upside. I did suggest a bigger pullback to this area. I think that looks like a really nice place for a buy. Unfortunately, price is just way too far for a retest of that level. Unless Bank of Japan intervene big time and we see a big sell-off, that could happen, and that could in turn be a really nice buy opportunity. But we'll react to that if that happens. But for now, just hit the mic. But for now, not really realistic. What is realistic though is a retest of this range here. Nice kind of range of a couple days. Nice break to the upside. Haven't got a retest there. See a nice pull back into that area. I think a nice opportunity on the hourly or the 30-minute chart looks good for a buy. And yeah, look to take that back to some new highs there for Aussie yen. Very bullish on the yen pairs. Not really seeing any signs of slowing down just yet. So I'll be expecting higher prices. In terms of Euro AUD, I feel like I'm missing out a pair somewhere. If I have, let me know. I'll take a look at Euro Aussie and then I'll go on to pound USD next. So in terms of Euro Aussie, not really a pair I'm looking at, to be honest. Not a big fan of Euro Aussie at the moment. There's a big level down here around 1.59700-ish, which is a level which I do think we can bounce from. And that's kind of about it. That's kind of what I'm looking at for Euro Aussie. Coming back into a big level and seeing some upside. Because we have been very corrective. We printed in these lower highs, 1, 2, 3, and lower lows as well. This is a really significant low for us because this low is what gave us this high up here. So this for me is our last major swing low in this bullish sequence back over here. So I do expect price to come back and respect this area and at least see some type of reaction to the upside. So what I was saying last week was kind of looking for shorts back into that level, and then once we get there, looking for buys. I did say a retest of this level would be a nice place for a short. Unfortunately, didn't quite get there, but still could. So that could still be a nice short if that does happen. But if we do see price kind of just slowly roll over to the downside into 1.59, then yeah, I do think this is a really nice place for a buy. So that's kind of where I'm at with Euro Aussie right now. not really at any area of significance, but if we do retrace a little bit higher, retest 1.62250, for me that's a solid place for a short. Likewise to the downside, that's a solid place for a buy. But yeah, I do expect to see a big reaction as we approach this area, similar to what we've seen with EUR/NZD. EUR/NZD's come back to a big level. We see a nice bullish reaction. I do think Euro/Aussie, which is a similar pair to EUR/NZD, could see something of that nature as well. So keep an eye on those levels, because that's kind of where you want to position yourself in the market. In terms of pound USD monthly time, USD CAD, that was the one. So yeah, USD CAD, again, I'm bullish on USD CAD. It's just price action is horrendous. We've been really stale in this consolidation, back and forth, nothing really of good quality, of good momentum. But despite that, there is some type of bullish trend here on the higher time frames. So I do think there's a good chance USD CAD can see another swing back to the high here at 1.38, 300. So that is where I'm expecting USD CAD to head towards. However, looking to trade is a different kettle of fish, because number one, I don't really see a solid level of support which I'd buy from. The trend line's good, but I need that horizontal support and resistance for me to take a trade, which I'm not really seeing right now. And number two, we're not really moving well in this area here. So for those reasons, I'm staying away from USD CAD and focusing on other dollar pairs. But hey, if you're looking at that trend line, you're looking to buy from there, it's holding well, it makes a lot of sense to buy from there and try and anticipate some more upside. So I can get behind that. It's just I wish conditions were a little bit more free-flowing. But yeah, despite from that, I do think USD CAD is likely to push higher. I'm still very bullish on the USD. In terms of pound USD, TJ, the monthly trend line, which trend line is that? I don't know if you're connecting these swing points here or those swing points. I'm not too sure which monthly trend line you're talking about. Maybe this one there. So yeah, if you're looking at this one, I can get behind that. Definitely. Nice first high, second high. Ooh, second high over there, and potentially a third over there. So yeah, the thing about using a monthly trend line, I'm not too sure if it's this one you're talking about, but if it is, the thing about monthly trend line is that it could take a while to get going. We could still spend another 2-3 months in this area before seeing a big short. So if you're talking about long term, where I'm expecting price to move £4 USD, yeah, I would still be long term bearish. That's the overall direction on the monthly chart. But yeah, in terms of finding a trading opportunity, we could still spend another 2-3 months here before seeing a downside, and we could still spend another 2-3 months before potentially even breaking higher as well. So I'm not going to try and anticipate that move happening, because it's just such a long-term move, and I could spend 2-3 months waiting for that move just for it to fail as well. So I'm looking at more shorter-term moves, and if we do break to the downside, fantastic. If we do get a solid month's close there to the downside, then yeah, for the next remaining months, we're expecting more of the same, potentially back to the lows here, and that will help with the higher time frame bias and help with plotting trades and holding on to trades as well. But for now, I'm more focused on this price action here, which I am bearish on as well, but it's just conditions aren't great. So for me, it's a bit difficult, but yes, I do agree with that higher time frame trend line. Okay, more. Yeah, I could see the logic behind that more as well. But I think they will intervene pretty soon though. Again, pretty soon. Asterisks there, 'cause I don't know what time period that is. That could be in a week or in a month or sometime this quarter. I have no idea. But we're at some prices, technically speaking, at least for the M pairs, where I do expect to see some type of pullback. Yes, they're still very, very bullish, and I do think we'll keep fighting higher. The likelihood of us seeing higher prices for the M pairs is still very high. And even looking at the Japanese index as well, which is kind of the main focus really. The Japanese index still has room to the upside too, which is a really big promising sign for the yen pairs as well, because I think the likelihood is that the Japanese index does fulfill this gap to the upside and does come back to 41k. So, and of course, if the Japanese index does move up, you expect weakness in the yen, which of course will take the yen pairs up higher as well. So Japanese index moving up means more upside for the yen pairs too. So I do think we'll still see higher prices 100%. Not 100%, shouldn't say that. Likelihood is we will see that, but not 100%. But again, we will see a big sell-off at some point, which will likely just be another higher low. We might do something like this, and again, just another higher low for price to push up. But I do expect something like that to happen. Pound CHF, we'll take a look at Eric, no problem. Tom C, Aussie CAD, I'll take a look at as well. Haven't looked at Aussie CAD yet. Oh, we have CHF CPI this week. Interesting. What day is that CPI? Let me have a quick look. See. It's not Monday. Can't find it. I can see a Swiss unemployment rate, but I can't see Swiss CPI. Maybe I'm just blind. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For CHF, I think the higher time frames, it does look bullish for me. But I'm looking for some shorter term sell opportunities. Like I was discussing on NCHF, I think we can see some downside before maybe we have a bigger move up. Pound CHF likewise as well. As we approach some of these areas, I think this is a nice place for a sell, but it might just be, excuse me, it might just be a short-term move before we do continue higher. Now, if I'm looking for a buy on the CHF pairs, I need them to start breaking some structure. So for pound CHF, I need to break through this high here at 1.145. I need it to break that high there. And then I'll be looking at pullback, some higher lows, and then a big push up. So that's kind of what I'll be looking at for pound CHF if I was looking to buy it. At the moment in time, this is bearish territory as we approach this area here. This is where all that momentum came from. So this is for me, definitely not a place which I want to be buying in. If anything, looking to sell. But if we do see a big break of that structure, then yeah, that will invalidate the sells for me, and then that'll make a bit more sense for the buyers. And at that case, we're probably looking at the daily chart continuing this bullish structure here as well. Maybe the market just having a bigger pullback to continue higher. If you break structure, that will indicate that as well. So if you're looking at more upside for CHF, pound CHF especially, I want to see that higher 1.14 be taken out. And then, yeah, I'll expect more upside. So that's kind of where I'm at with pound CHF. Yeah, I mean, of course, every time we do see price for the yen pairs to take a big hit and we see a big candle coming down, big move down, it just puts in a higher low and the market keeps pushing higher. So you would expect the same to happen again. If we do see another spike to the downside, another big candle, you do expect higher prices after that, unless something changes, drastically changes. But at the moment in time, not looking likely. So yeah, at the moment it looks like a complete one-way street for the yen pairs. Tom C, okay, Aussie CAD, I will take a look. Aussie CAD, so Aussie CAD, what are we doing Aussie CAD? So I'm looking for this to break to the downside. This was my my bonus currency, my weekly analysis this week. I do like Aussie CAD, but it just needs to break to the downside. Right now, it's kind of looking like it's trying to break to the upside, not really convincingly. But I want to see price break lower, break out of this support level here, and then I'll be looking to take some shorts. I've been looking for the same move for a while. I'm looking for a big swing to the downside. I'm looking at this as a big pullback. I'm looking at another lower high. I'm looking at another big push to the downside to these lows here. So that is the plan at play. That is the plan at play for Aussie CAD. But of course, to actually see that trade happen, this needs to go. We need to start breaking to the downside, and then I can be looking at my pullbacks afterwards. At the moment, we're not seeing that. And at the moment, the chance of us breaking higher is probably greater. So, yeah, Aussie CAD's been difficult. It's been ranging. Yeah, Marsana, I completely agree with you there. Aussie CAD has been ranging. It's been a difficult pair to look at, to trade even. But if we can see some momentum breaking below, things get a lot clearer, and that will be a lovely level for a retest. So that's kind of what I'm interested in. I'm not really interested in buying it. Yeah, with respect to the higher time frames, I'm looking at potentially another lower high coming into play. One over there, second over here, potentially another one over there. I don't think a trend line does. Maybe does it? Yeah, it does actually. Did not spot that trend line before. So we actually got a trend line confluence there as well. So we're generally speaking in that area where we could see a lower high. I know we're coming into the 0.618 of the fib here, just about touching that area. If I zoom in, actually, if I just go to the weekly chart, so yeah, we can see we're touching that area there as well. So for me, this is just a natural area where we could form a lower high and come right back down again if we are going to continue in this bearish sequence. So that's why I'm not really trying to look for the buys anymore, because we could be forming a lower high and the sells have a lot more meat to it if we're going to see that move. So yeah, I'm waiting for us to clear that to the downside and look for some sells. I could be wrong. Maybe price does break through all of this confluence and we form a crazy uptrend. But I'd rather price goes and does that. And then I look for an entry somewhere else. But in this area, this is a nice place for a short. So yeah, that's kind of my verdict for Aussie CAD, and that's what I was referring to in my weekly analysis as well. Hopefully you can see some downside in Entity CAD. It's similar pair to Aussie CAD. It's actually shaping up a little bit better at the moment. We've broken through this low a long time ago, and I'm looking for a retest of that for some sells. And I do think we can see some downside. It's not looking as good, I must admit. This one is a lot more corrective, but again, maybe we are forming another little high to push down. So hopefully we can see that pullback, catch some shorts on the retest, and then yeah, see a lot more downside. But I think CAD pairs in general have been quite corrective. Aussie CAD hasn't been moving the best. New Zealand CAD has been moving okay. Pound CAD, okay I guess, but not great. And Euro CAD has been horrendous. USD CAD horrendous. I think that's all the CAD pairs I look at anyway. CAD JPY. Okay, that one's been good, but that's down to yen anyway. So yeah, CAD pairs haven't been moving well. I do think that will change soon. CAD CHF as well. This one's been moving okay, I guess, but it's been stuck in that range for a while, which hasn't been great. So yeah, I think in terms of Aussie CAD, keep an eye on that break to the downside. Not interested at all with the buys really. So yeah, we'll hope we can see that downside. How's pound USD and Euro USD doing? Not really seeing much there. Euro's looking okay still, but I still want to see a bit more upside in Euro. That for me is still the level I want to short from and take a trade from. How's DXY looking? Still looking bullish, holding up pretty well, but the candle's still got 2 hours and 17 minutes before it does close, so we could look a lot different in that space of time. But still respecting structure, so yeah, still looking for a higher low to form. Chris, yeah, a little bit, yeah. I think yen pairs are the only ones that are still juicing up, but a lot of other markets quite stale. At least dollar pairs anyway. But again, you know, that's been the theme for the year for a lot of markets. Apart from yen, I want to put a big asterisk with yen because yen have been moving pretty well. Not the best. They have been a little bit weird sometimes, the yen pairs as well. I mean, that was a nice swing, but now we're quite corrective here. So even the yen pairs have had some weird moments to them. But besides from that, dollar pairs have been really, really poor. CAD pairs poor. Some of the cross pairs poor. CHF pairs, they've had some moments, I give them that there. But again, dollars is the main kind of judgment because those are the most traded pairs. Those are the majors. Majors haven't been moving well. And again, I trade the majors the most. Still look at, of course, all the pairs I trade, majors minus silver and gold. But most of my trades do come from the majors. NZUSD looking nice. William took a short, touched the 200, stop loss okay. Oh, we touched the 200. Is that the 4 hour 200 you're talking about? I think it's I know it's the 200. I think it's the 4 hour. Oh, okay, yes we did. Yes we did. That's a nice little tag there. So yeah, with NZUSD, it's kind of like, okay, we've broken through support. We're now retesting resistance. We got some extra confluence there as well. You can probably add a trendline confluence because we've been hugging this area here as well. There's probably other confluence you can find there too. But in terms of just pure market structure, we've broken through a low back here. Now we're retesting a resistance. It's kind of just up to the market if it wants to hold this level or not. So far, it looks like it is. On the hourly chart, not that convincing with the candlesticks. It would be nice if this was a little bit more bearish to really give us that bearish engulfing candle. Maybe we'll see a bit more follow through in the next candle, but I like it. It's a nice location. Again, for the reasons I've explained last week and this week, I would like it to be a bit bigger before I take a trade. But besides from that, it's at a nice area. So again, NZUSD, I'm very bearish on the currency. I do think we can see a lot more downside. My targets are all the way down there. So, you know, I want to join in at some point. Just if we can see another move to downside, that'd be great. And same with Aussie dollar as well. Aussie dollar, I want to get involved with this one too. This one's just taking its sweet time. This one, I mean, the range has arguably been worse with Aussie dollar than NZUSD. But this one, again, in a big range. I'm looking for us to come back into the low down here. I want to see a nice break of this one, a retest, and then plot some sells like that. So this is a very similar situation with NZUSD as well. I think NZUSD's got a bit more room. So maybe some more pullbacks can be traded there. I think NZUSD has a good chance of getting back to this low as well. So I really do see a lot more downside for these dollar pairs. But yeah, not a big fan of that. but it does look like we're seeing dollar strength this morning. So yeah, hopefully that does continue for you, William. Where's your take profit, William, for that trade? I assume maybe you're looking to short it back to the low here, maybe around 0.60600, I would say. Malik, what is up? Good morning. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Okay, long USD CAD. Quite a few people buying USD CAD today. Okay, 1.3678 back to 1.375. Where is 1.375? Okay, it's pretty much around here somewhere. So yeah, again, I'm still bullish on dollar. Do you think more upside is likely for dollar? USD CAD, not really my preferred dollar pair because of the ranging conditions, but I do think we're likely going to see more upside anyway. Because we're hugging onto this trend line very, very well. It's either we're going to break the trend line and not continue higher, or respect the trend line and continue higher at the moment in time. It looks like it's the latter. Price is respecting that well. Big wick to the downside last week. Still holding on to it this week as well. So USD CAD for me looks like a good opportunity for price to go high. Now, in terms of actually buying it, that's where it's awkward for me because I don't really have a solid level which I'll look to buy from. And for me, support resistance is the most important thing. Trendline confluence is fantastic. I love to have trend lines involved in my trades, but the non-negotiable has to be that level of support resistance, which I'm not really seeing at the moment with USD CAD, at least a clear one anyway. So that is kind of keeping me out of the position, and more importantly, the conditions have been horrendous as well. So I'm not liking that either. But despite that, if my dollar bullish bias does play out and we do keep respecting that trend line, then USD CAD has every right to continue high and go and smash or take profit. So I can definitely back it from that aspect, but in terms of me finding a trade, it's missing a few things, which is keeping me out of the market. But I am bullish bias on USD CAD. So in terms of direction, I definitely do agree with you. Okay, got the zone at second sell option. Okay, 0.596. 596. Oh, okay, it's all the way down here. That is a big move. How many pips is that? That's like 135. I mean, not crazy, but definitely for that move there. Okay, no problem more. I mean, no problem more. Happy to have you on the stream, my man. Really do appreciate that. You're helping out on the streams, of course. Yeah, have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate it. Yeah, of course, don't be shy. Leave a like. If you guys are enjoying the stream, do leave a like. It really does help out. And I really do appreciate everyone who does so. But have a good one, my man. See you tomorrow. But yeah, 0.596 is... Okay, not much action, just trail. Yeah, I think trailing will make the most sense, especially for such a big target, because you don't want to be one-dimensional, especially when you have big targets. If you're going to be looking for like 1-to-1s, 1-to-2s, then yeah, you can have that one target and just wait for price to get there. But I'd imagine your risk reward here is looking like a 1-to-6, 1-to-7, maybe even more. So when you're having such big targets, because the aim of the game is to try and maximize your risk reward and keep your losses small, which is what you're doing here with this trade, which I'm all for and I love to see. But the mistake a lot of people make when they do this is being one-dimensional by saying, okay, I'm going to have a target down here. So if it gets there, I want to make a really good return. If it doesn't get there, then I'm either going to take a break even or a loss. and the odds of price getting here are quite slim. Even if you've done the best analysis in the world and everything looks good, the odds are generally quite slim. So you want to make sure you're paying yourself along the way, or using a trading stop loss as well. Of course, it will mean sometimes that you get trailed out and then price does go and hit your overall take profit, but it will keep you more sustainable in the long run. So yeah, keep up with that trading stop loss. Of course, give it the necessary room, but you want to be trading, you want to be protecting your profits there. Because the last thing you want to see is healthy profit just to go against you. Of course, that will be painful, but of course you're seeing out that idea of, okay, I want price to hit that overall target, because I know, I can take 5 losers, but if I hit a 1 to 6, I'm back in profit. A lot easier said than done. At least consistently, that is. But yeah, I do like that. I do think NZUSD targets, these are my long-term targets of where I'm expecting price to end up. So I'm expecting price to even go further than where your targets are. So I'm definitely on board. I'm just not the biggest fan of that retest. That is all. But hopefully we can see some more downside and that can change. But yeah, the main plan for me this week, still looking at Euro. It's been funny. I've been focused a lot on Euro and Pound this year, which is funny because they haven't really been the best conditions. Looking at Euro there, looking at Pound there. I think I've had 3 positions in Pound and maybe like 7 or 8 positions on Euro. So yeah, I've been focusing a lot on them lately. And I'm still kind of keeping it up, looking to see if I can jump back again in Euro this week. It would be nice if this was a little bit higher up. It's a bit awkward where it is right now. Not quite on board with that. Maybe it does sell off from here, but yeah, I'd like it to be a little bit deeper. But again, that's some of the situations that you will happen when you're waiting for price to come to you, waiting for price to retest a level of support and resistance or supply and demand. There will be some situations, some circumstances where price doesn't go and hit your level, hits a different level, or just doesn't get close and it sells off without you or flies without you. That's just a part of the game, chalk to the game. Sometimes maybe you miss something, and the best way to find out is reviewing on the weekend or the week after. But the last thing you want to do is try and jump into the trade because you feel like, okay, doesn't look like price is going to get to my level here. Let me just take the trade here anyway. And that's kind of the last thing you want to do, because it leaves you taking unnecessary losses and it makes you a lot more emotional. Because my emotional thought process, that is a weird term, my emotional kind of state when I take this trade will be I'll be a lot more sensitive to this trade in terms of the fluctuation of price and things, because I'm taking it based on fear rather than a premeditated plan. If I'm waiting for price to get here and it does get there, I'm a lot more focused, a lot more locked in on what I'm supposed to be doing, because I'm just trading what I plan to do. But if I start getting to trade a little bit earlier, sure, maybe it's being proactive, but most of the time it's just an emotional response of maybe missing out on a trade. So I would hate to try and force anything from that perspective, which is why if I've locked onto a level, I'm waiting for price to eventually get there and retest that same level, and then I will look to take my trade. If it doesn't get there, it doesn't get there. But yeah, DXY is looking bullish here. Maybe DXY is going to just push up. I mean, we do have some resistance just above us, so that is going to be make or break for dollar, I think. Because if we do get here, start showing some wicks, respect it, then we could come right back down, and that'll be the end of that. Actually, no, that might give me the opportunity to get into the trade, actually. As long as we don't break through that, I'm still bullish. I'm bullish on dollar, but maybe we have one more sell-off, which gives me the boost on euro to push up. Again, this is me thinking out loud for possible opportunities, trying to see if we can get there. But again, it's just waiting to see if the setup will happen. That's a big part of trading. Big part of trading. Same thing, Aussie dollar. I've been waiting for this for a while. I remember when we had the NFP, big drop there to the downside. Things were looking good. And I thought we were going to get the breakout, but price decided it wants to consolidate just as much as it did previously again. So that's been annoying. But in terms of my watch list for the week, because I haven't gone for my watch list yet. In terms of my watch list, I'm keeping an eye on pound USD. As I said, I'm losing a little bit of love on it because of the way it's pulling back. And euro looks a little bit better. So I think I'll just focus on euro. Pound was on the watch list coming to the week, but tempted to drop it and just focus on euro. I still do like Aussie yen, but again, it's just been so bullish. I'm not too sure I'll see a pullback to that level. So I might have to give that one the miss as well. Pound NZD looks good. I feel like this is probably going to see a breakout this week. Whether I get the setup this week, I'm not too sure as well, but the breakout looks pretty imminent. Looks like it's trying to break out the channel there as well. So hopefully we can see a bit more upside, get the break of that resistance, 2.08500. Then I'll be looking at the retest and then looking to take it back to the high. So pound NZD is definitely something I want to focus on this week. I also like pound CAD if it's going to pull back a little bit further. I'm not too sure if it's going to. It looks like it's trying to break higher now. But as I said in my weekly analysis and last week, I like the retest of this level here. And hopefully we can come back and see that retest this week. And I'll plot some trades there. I'm not too sure if I'll try and swing it back to the high. Again, I'll have a trading stop loss. So I'll take it how far I can take it. But realistically, I'm kind of looking at these areas here before maybe I get trailed out. Maybe this area here. Or maybe we catch a nice winner all the way to the high. We'll wait and see. But the idea is to look for a retest of that level and take a buy. Aussie CAD, definitely a pair I'm looking at, was the bonus pair as well. Just need to see a big break to the downside. And then I can take a short. And then, of course, I'm waiting for silver and gold as well to give me those higher highs and higher lows. Silver's looking a tad bullish. Let's see if we can continue that. Same thing with gold. Oh, gold's actually looking pretty bullish. See, that's funny because gold's pushing up. So is dollar. Which comes back to my previous point that the correlation isn't always exact. Anyway, guys, we have come up to 12. So I have to love you and leave you. Of course, I will be live again tomorrow, every day this week, and I'll probably do like a NFP special on Friday. I'll probably keep the hours the same, but I might do an extra little NFP session in the afternoon. But besides from that, everything will be the same this week, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. as of always. So make sure you do tune in for the streams this week. I do really appreciate all my moderators helping me out. Thank you so much for helping me moderate the stream. And of course, thank you to everyone else as well for tuning in, chatting with me. Really do appreciate that. If you did enjoy the stream, guys, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. It really does help out. Drop a like, hit the subscribe button. It really does help out. And hit the bell as well so you never miss any streams or uploads in the future. Telegram channel in the description below. Do post my updates there, so check out that link in the description. But guys, thank you so much for coming to the stream. Appreciate everyone, and yeah, take care.
Any